Hello and welcome to the Autocar show. Now the cars we have in our lineup today are large enough to be prestigious, they're powerful enough to be fun to drive, they're comfortable, plus they don't really burn a hole in your wallet. We're talking mid-size diesels. Now it's a closely contested segment. The first one to make its debut was the Linea of the new lot, and when it did, it became our car of the year. With its 90 bhp engine and loads of equipment, it was a car you could not ignore. Then came the Volkswagen Vento. With its punchy performance, loads of cabin space and attention to detail, it soon became the segment leader. Well, the SX4 has just made its entry with a diesel power plant. Now, it's no spring chicken. Its petrol sibling has been around a while. It's definitely tasted success. Will the SX4 diesel do the same? We're going to find out. Despite being around the longest time, the SX4 seems the most radical. Its unique half-car, half-soft-roader stance makes this hybrid design taller than the competition. And the big wheels and even larger wheel arches is what gives the saloon its butch stance. The most attractive part though is the plunging shoulder line that drops to the front wheel arch, creating a kink in the quarter glass. In contrast, the Polo-based Vento is Volkswagen conservatism to its most evolved form. As ever, Volkswagen's proportions are just right. The detailing is fresh and the skinning on the doors and wheel arch is nice and taut. Ditto to the styling of the headlamps and the chin. The Vento doesn't look like a hatch with a boot tacked on either. However, it's really the Linea that's the best looking car here. A smooth flowing roof, quarter glasses front and rear, and a large two-part grille give this low-slung car a level of sophistication. The Fiat is also very attractive looking from the rear as well. The simple proportions seem just right. Whilst all three cars are based on hatchbacks, the SX4 included, the Fiat and the Volkswagen have extended wheelbases. Volkswagen's tried and tested formula for India made more affordable works well in the Vento. It's very similar to its sibling the Polo, only you get better textures, better fabrics, more equipment in the Vento. It's a pretty simple layout actually, and there's lots of chrome adding highlights to the interior. There are some bits we didn't like too, like the lower-end plastics in the door trim and the lower dash. This takes away the feeling of being in a high-quality Volkswagen cabin. Now, the SX4 diesel's interiors are no different to the petrol model, and so feel very familiar. There are a few swift carryovers like the side vents, steering wheel, gear lever, and power window buttons. The plastics don't feel very rich, and some of the buttons don't have a quality feel either. But there are some really nice bits too. The chrome highlights look really nice in the SX4, and the AC dials feel and look really good quality. The driving position is also slightly elevated and the front seats are extremely supportive. The only thing is that the A-pillar position obstructs vision during parking and at crossroads. Now whenever we get into the Linea, we always find that the steering sort of comes out at you, feels in your face. Plus the pedals have really long travel, so it takes a while to get comfortable into this seat. But you can get comfortable, and that's primarily because the seats themselves are quite large, they envelop you, they bolster you well. There are lots of other nice bits to the Linea as well. We like the dash layout, it's quite impressive. The soft touch buttons are really nice, and even the retro dials with their sort of chrome rings give it a really nice touch. Plus the Linea is very well equipped. But along with the good bits, there's some bad bits too. Like plenty of cheap plastics, the vents, the door locks, the glove box, and the area surrounding the gear lever. Not only do they display poor quality, but fit and finish leaves a lot to be desired too. The Linea is the best equipped car here. Steering mounted controls, voice activated Bluetooth pairing, and USB support. The SX4 doesn't get Bluetooth support and has no rear vents either, but iPod connectivity is available. The Volkswagen is the one that sadly is the most sparsely equipped. Now that's inside, but under the hood, the Linea and the SX4 share the same 90 bhp multijet, just in different states of tune. But it's the Vento that has the 1.6-litre motor that actually packs in 350cc more. So let's see what that translates into on the road. Now, for all you people who love the environment, here's an interesting fact. Maruti is the first manufacturer to comply with OBD2 norms in India with the SX4 diesel. What these norms require is that you monitor the amount of pollutants your car emits throughout the life cycle of the car. Well, should the SX4 diesel cross the limit, then you'll be warned via a light on the dash to take your car to the service center immediately. Now that's pretty interesting. As far as performance goes, it's a bit of a tug-of-war between the SX4 and the Linea that share the same engine. With the Suzuki's more favorable gearing, the SX4 gets to the 100 km/h mark quicker. But the Linea takes over after this. It has the stronger top end of the two and gets to the 140 mark ahead of the SX4. Despite having a variable geometry turbo, the Linea feels really sluggish at low revs. And the SX4 doesn't feel much better either. You really have to work the gears in both these cars to get the best out of them. And keeping them above 2000 RPM is the best way to go. The Vento does have some turbo lag, but the thing is that even when it's off boost, it's actually quicker than the other two engines. And then once the turbo kicks in, this engine is really a delight to drive. It's nice and punchy, has loads of torque. Put your foot down and you've got power everywhere. And it really whacks the pants off the other two, be it in the 0 to 100 or in the 0 to 140 times. The only thing is that the power delivery of the Vento is a bit uneven. Sudden rushes of power make driving in traffic a bit tricky. What does help the Vento is that it has the nicest gear shift of the lot. Now that's all about power, but how do these cars handle around the corners? The Linea really hugs the road around corners, and what gives it an edge is the steering. It's so accurate and precise. In fact, it's a league above the other two cars. It feels a level above. Even high-speed stability is really good in the Linea. What can be a bit of a pain though is the turning circle. It turns a bit wide, especially when you want to make a tight turn. It can be a bit difficult. The Vento's soft setup gets the nose pitching on an uneven surface, which can be disconcerting, especially when you're braking. And while the light steering is a boon in the city, it's totally devoid of feeling at highway speeds. As a result, the Vento isn't too much fun to drive, and that's a shame given the performance on tap. The SX4 suspension is also on the softer side, and that means a fair amount of pitching on uneven surfaces. The electric-powered steering also has that typically inconsistent feel, and along with the high center of gravity, it's not the best car to attack a twisty road. Well, there is one vehicle that can handle the corners as well as it handles bad roads. It's really the Linea that has the best balance between ride and handling. It may not have the SX4's ground clearance, but it still tackles all the bad roads really well, and it's such a flat, consistent ride that you don't really feel the road here in the back seat. The under-thigh support is really good as well, so it's a very comfortable back seat. In fact, I think even more than the Volkswagen Vento. But what really lets this down is lack of space. Legroom is a bit tight, and even headroom, because it's got a sloping roofline and tall passengers are going to brush their heads here. You won't have to worry too much about bad roads either in the SX4. The oversized tires give it a distinct edge. It simply thumps through the potholes, and the terrific ground clearance means you don't have to worry about speed breakers or slow down for rough patches. You sit nice and high in the SX4 and getting in and out of it is easy, but the backrest isn't as ergonomically accomplished and feels a little bit soft and uncomfortable. With its longer wheelbase and pliant suspension, the Vento has a pretty decent ride too, and it does a great job, especially at low speeds, of filtering out all the bumps and potholes. The big plus point is the comfortable back seat. Backrest is a bit upright, but then you've got good under-thigh support, and of course the big plus that this is the most spacious back seat. And there is a trick lever here which allows you to move the seat in front without having to trouble the driver and get more legroom for yourself whenever you need. Now that we're talking about diesels, we do have to take into consideration how easy they'll be on the wallet. Diesel cars are expected to offer good fuel efficiency, and none of these cars disappoint. There's really not much to choose between the three of them, and they all offer similar consumption figures. The SX4 has a slight edge in the city, but on the highway it's the Linea that gives the best figure. The Vento's figures are only just a fraction behind. However, the Vento with its huge 55-litre tank, which has the maximum range, gains an advantage. True to the Maruti brand, the SX4 is the one to pick if you want a hassle-free commuter, expected to be the cheapest to own and the easiest one to maintain. But these days, mid-size segment buyers want a little bit more from their car. They want space, they want comfort, they want long-distance ability, and the SX4 really doesn't offer that up as well as the others. Now, the Linea, our car of the year in 2011, still has a lot to offer. It's got great ride and handling, it's very well equipped, plus it feels very solidly built. But what lets it down is its sluggish performance at low revs and the fact that it's cramped in the backseat. It just doesn't have enough space. The Vento is the most expensive one of the lot, and the fact that it's not very well equipped means that it's not great value for money. But it's definitely very well engineered, it's tailored for Indian conditions, and the fact that it has a spacious, roomy cabin makes it very, very comfortable. But what really gives it the edge is the punchy 1.6 engine that lies under the hood.